I seriously doubt that any of you guys noticed this this past weekend, but Candace Owens just casually dropped a huge bombshell about the Charlie Kirk debacle, fiasco, assassination, murder. I'm still not over it. I still haven't had really a decent sleep since this has happened. And now we've got all these new violent acts that keep happening and happening. The radical nut job anti-American left has not stopped even for a minute. Their violent ratcheting of rhetoric and hate. And I think it's time we cover this. And so I'm sure most of you guys are no strangers to who Candace Owens is. I purposefully have been kind of keeping quiet and just absorbing, paying attention somewhat, not too deeply. But today I'm going to share with you what her bombshell reveal was that she just casually, even TMZ posted this as well, posted on her Instagram story. And then I'm going to go through, if you're willing to sit with me through this. I know a lot of you guys have been messaging me saying, hey, Nez, when are you going to go on and talk about the Candace Owens thing? Charlie Kirk, she brings up this, she brings up that, she's bringing up something valid here, something nutty here. This is the video that you all asked for. So I have broken down, as I always do, doing my due diligence, qualitative and quantitative research, a step-by-step, very easy to follow. It's going to be fast. It's not going to be super long outline of everything that Candace Owens has claimed and all the evidence that seems to contradict that. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to, I don't want to say Candace is, this or that, or trying to do this or that, or is a conspiracy theorist, or is lacking any of this or that. I'm going to just present what's out there, what I have found and discovered. I'll let you know my take at the end, but I want to go through all the facts and evidence first. So sit back, relax, buckle up, grab your favorite drink, your favorite beverage. Your boy Nez is going to take great care of everything, and let's just jump right into it. Okay. By the way, also really quickly, as I always do in full transparency, if you want a copy of all my research notes for absolutely nothing, totally free, I'll let you know how you can do that at the end of this video. Stick around. Okay. So she posted this just yesterday. Okay. Today is the 28th of September as of this recording. She posts 5 different storyboards. I want to break this news immediately because it feels important. And I think if I don't break it immediately, something bad might happen. Very cryptic there. I hope I have earned the trust of enough of the people to believe me when I say that I have verified this information, but cannot reveal the source. One thing I have to say right off the bat about Candace Owens, no matter what you think about her, she is a master storyteller. She is an impresario of marketing and self-promotion. She is a genius when it comes to getting people to pay attention to her. I mean, an absolute genius. No matter what you think of her, I have to give that to her. Okay, in the next storyboard, she says, Tyler Robinson is not, I can't say the word, you can read it there, but he's not somebody who would off himself because they're going to delete the video or suppress it. Even worse, shadow ban me. But you can read it right there on the screen. Tyler Robinson is not someone who would off himself or has tendencies in that regard. The entire narrative that was placed in the media about him, having been that, which you can read right there, the word, is completely fictional, as are many other aspects of what we have been told. In the next storyboard, his father having, quote, turned him in after a confession, end quote, is also complete fiction. To the contrary, Tyler Robinson maintains his innocence and has never even been to the UVU campus. What? There are absolutely 0 photos or video that the campus can produce to the contrary. Okay, her next storyboard, she says, we're going to dissect all of this, which is why they have produced nothing more than a blurry image, which Tyler's family knows is not him. Tyler has never once expressed a thought about ending himself. I want to make that clear. The federal government is lying about absolutely everything, other than the fact that it is his gun. And then here is the last storyboard. Not that we need further substantiation, but Tyler Robinson did not author those Discord messages. So I'll go through that later. If you don't know what we're talking about, essentially he was saying, in Discord, which is a chat room. We have a Discord. We have a Nez Nation Discord. It's essentially a private chat with members only. People that have to be invited, where he was basically admitting that he did this. I would like to again stress that he has never been to Utah Valley University campus, but, and I need to confirm this later, I believe he was around, in capital letters, the campus on that day. I will have more on this later, but I wanted to immediately publish that the Tyler Robinson narrative about him offing himself or being in that mental state, plus the quote, dad that did the right thing after realizing his son was guilty, end quote, is a federal concoction. Okay, so I have put together this very concrete, substantive outline on Candace Owens' claims on the Charlie Kirk assassination. And again, if you want a free copy of this, I will tell you how you can get this towards the end of the video. Literally, you can just, it's in the pinned comment and in the description. You just click on it and you get it for free. You can download it for free. But I want to kind of contextualize things and give the full scope, because this might be my only video. I've seen so many other independent media, YouTubers, content creators, live streamers, etc., talk about Candace and try to glom onto her, how should I say this? Her successful algorithms. And I'm just not that kind of guy. So I wanted to make sure that I really did this justice. And so here's my version. I hope you're interested, and I hope this is as factual and as due diligent as possible, as you know I always do. So on September 10th, conservative activist Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, was fatally wounded during a public event. Okay, that was the FBI and local authorities quickly identified Tyler Robinson, 22-year-old UVU student, charging him with capital murder based on DNA evidence, ballistics, and a confessed motive tied to political grievances. Kirk, age 31, died at the scene from a single rifle shot to the chest, with an exit wound confirmed by autopsy. If you don't know who Candace Owens is, she's obviously somebody who's a prominent conservative commentator. She was a former colleague of Kirk at Turning Point USA, so they were friends. They knew each other. She's used her podcast to promote skepticism and theories, often urging followers to stop accepting the official narrative, end quote. So she's gained a ton of traction, a ton of new dissension amongst the ranks, if you will, of influencers, people who have power in that faction, et cetera, et cetera. I've paid attention to a few of her live streams. I can't get through all of it, but I'll definitely say it's entertaining and it's interesting, and I'm always skeptical. So here's my kind of answer to this. The purpose of this outline, I just want to be very clear. This is to provide a clear fact-based analysis of Owens's key claims. I mean, she makes a lot of claims, but I'm providing as much evidence as I can, and I talk about my verification. So let's get right into it. So here are the key claims of Candace Owens, okay? So claim 1, Tyler Robinson was framed and is innocent, quote, not the shooter. So Owens alleges Robinson is a, quote, patsy, end quote, in a federal setup, claiming he was framed by the government. Concrete examples include on September 27, she posted on Instagram, quote, Tyler Robinson is framed. He is not, you can read the word, somebody who wants to off himself. The entire narrative about him having been in that state is completely fictional. She added he, quote, never confessed, end quote, has never been to the campus, and the only evidence is a blurry image his family doesn't recognize as him. In a podcast episode, she called the official story, quote, federal concoction, end quote, and hinted at, quote, further revelations. She also claimed on X, September 13th, that Discord denied Robinson used their platform for planning, implying feds fabricated digital evidence. So here's the contradicting evidence. FBI Director Kash Patel confirmed Robinson's DNA was found on a towel wrapping the murder weapon, which was a 36 bolt action rifle with ballistics matching the bullet recovered from Kirk's body during autopsy. Prosecutors released text messages from Robinson to his roommate confessing the act, e.g., quote, "I did it, Kirk is gone," end quote, time-stamped shortly after the shooting. These were verified via phone records, not Discord. Robinson was arrested September 11th in a nearby apartment after a 33-hour manhunt. Court filings show he attended UVU and had no alibi. Family statements to media acknowledge the image as him, though blurred for privacy. No evidence of framing. Patel addressed this in a September 22 ex-post committing to probe, quote, "text message confession and related conversations," end quote. Independent fact checks, e.g. New York Times, found no discrepancy in his ideation to end himself reports from police interviews. So I've combed everything that I can, not just online, but all different outlets, media, etc. Now, I will be the first to admit, and even my son, who's 13 years old, my daughter, who's 12, my wife, who's the most brilliant researcher of all time, I will admit this about the text messages. They do seem a little funky, to say the very, very least. She does a great job, and I watched that episode where she says using words like vehicle and patrol and just different kind of nomenclature seems very odd for a 22-year-old to implement. I will give her that. But again, I'm reserving my judgment. I'll tell you what I think in the end. I can't wait to get your comments. Here, let's keep going. Number 2. Her second claim, evidence is fabricated. E.g., fake text, no real wounds, footage issue. So Owens questions forensic and digital evidence, claiming texts are, quote, "so federally written," end quote, and, quote, "obnoxious messages that someone strung together," end quote. In a September 17 podcast, she alleged reviewing, quote, "rear footage," end quote, showing, quote, "no blood whatsoever," end quote, or exit wound, implying staging. She also claimed a witness video shows the shot, quote, "seconds later," end quote, with a, quote, "smaller weapon," end quote, and hinted at a, quote, "mystery man," end quote, removing camera footage. I saw that episode too. On X, she said, quote, "the feds are in overdrive trying to protect Tyler Robinson's roommate," end quote, suggesting manipulated chats. Now, the contradicting evidence to that, Utah medical examiner's autopsy released September 13th confirmed death by exsanguination from a frontal gunshot with an exit wound on the back. Blood spatter visible in public front-facing security footage and bystander videos. FBI secured all cameras immediately. There was no tampering reported. Minor timeline variances in videos explained by phone clock lags, not mismatches. Texts were authenticated via forensic analysis, not federally written. Patel's September 20 briefing addressed, quote, "angle of the shot and bullet impact, confirming rifle use from a ground level, not rooftop." So that's just what the evidence was presented that contradicts what Candace is saying. Her third claim, federal conspiracy or operation involving corruption. Owens describes the killing as a, quote, "federal level of corruption and conspiracy," end quote, calling it a, quote, "coordinated assassination," end quote, followed by, quote, "psychological warfare," end quote. In her September 17th ex-post, she said, quote, "the feds like to play games," end quote. And on September 19th on her podcast, she said, quote, "media agents," end quote, "suppress questions." She urged exhumation for independent autopsy and took credit for Patel's statement addressing theories saying, quote, "we did this," end quote. So the FBI's transparent updates, September 11th, reward of $100,000 for accomplice info, show no internal role. Patel testified in Senate hearings on the 16th against cover-ups, emphasizing pursuit of all leads without bias. No links to organized groups. Robinson's digital trail, which was marked as obsessive anti-Kirk, supports lone actor motive. Autopsy was independent, Utah medical examiner, no exhumation needed as results align with forensics. Critics like McCoy called her theories, quote, "craven opportunism," end quote. Her fourth claim, involvement of Israel Mossad or external pressure. Bill Ackman kind of falls into this category. So Owens links the killings to Kirk's evolving stance, quote, on Israel, claiming he was, quote, executed, end quote, for criticism. Examples on her September 16 podcast, she alleged that Bill Ackman staged a Hamptons, quote, intervention, end quote, where, quote, threats were made, end quote, and, quote, blackmail, end quote, occurred. Kirk was offered, quote, a ton of money, end quote, to change views, but refused. She suggested Mossad role, prompting Netanyahu's denial, and tied it to Kirk hosting Israel critics like Tucker Carlson and Dave Smith. She also claimed Kirk was turning Catholic under pressure. And then Bill Ackman posted WhatsApp exchanges showing friendly post-event chats denying threats / money offers. Attendees corroborated no intervention. Netanyahu issued 2 denials. Former Mossad chief Yossi Cohen stated, quote, Mossad had no part, end quote. FBI probes found no foreign ties. Kirk's pro-Israel stance was consistent, i.e., Netanyahu's invitation was genuine per records. McCoy refuted Catholic conversions as baseless gossip. So those are her major key claims, okay? So the overall assessment here is that, while emotionally charged and amplified by her platform, you got to understand, her podcast charted number 2 on Spotify post this. Relying on speculation without evidence, often contradicting forensic digital witness data, official probes emphasize transparency, e.g. Patel's commitment to exhaustive review, with no substantiation for conspiracies as of today's date, September 28, 2025. This case could potentially highlight how grief can fuel misinformation, encourage audiences to prioritize verified sources like FBI updates. And I wanted to kind of share some highlights that honor Charlie Kirk's legacy, because I do think that this has potential to kind of defame or at least smear Charlie Kirk's legacy. And if you were with us during the live stream of Charlie Kirk's memorial, it was one of the most beautiful events I've ever seen. Erica knocked it out of the park. Trump knocked it out of the park. J.D. Vance knocked it out of the park. Stephen Miller knocked it out of the park. So many others I thought were just so absolutely amazing. So I have that in my notes here. But here's my take. So she is essentially what Candace Owens, and again, I'm giving her full respect. I think she's one of the most brilliant, intelligent, articulate craftswomen, storytellers, commentators out there. She really knows how to garner attention better than almost anybody I know or have known in this space. I give her that. It's interesting how her podcast got to number 2 after all of this. That is something that's very interesting. But to me, this is my take, okay? She is claiming that the federal government has created a concoction, a fabrication about pretty much everything around the Charlie Kirk assassination. Now, the federal government is our president, Trump. The federal government is our director of CIA, our director of FBI, Kash Patel, Ratcliffe, the Department of Justice, Attorney General, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino. These are the people that, she's claiming are making all this up. And I just don't see any real substantive, viable way to look at those people and say they're covering up or there's something awry here, and it involves Israel, it involves Mossad, it involves all these elements. You'd have to, so the bottom line is, if you are to agree with Candace, then you agree that Kash is full of it, Bongino's full of it, Pam Bondi's full of it, J.D. Vance is full of it, and so is Trump. I don't buy that. I don't see any reason. I don't see any gain by covering this up or lying to the American public, especially given the fact that Trump has gotten to where he is. Trump has won the election, won the hearts of America, won the highest office in the land again due to his radical transparency and his authenticity and just being real, right? I don't see what they have to gain by covering up all this. So whether you believe Candace or you believe Kash Patel, you're essentially saying that if you side with one, the other is full of it, hiding something, and trying to really engage in a conspiracy that I don't see how they gain anything by A, covering this up, and B, Charlie Kirk not being around, because Charlie Kirk was essentially one of the top reasons that all of those people got into the positions that they did. You could essentially effectively say, if it wasn't for Charlie Kirk, there stands a really good chance that Trump might not have won. He had that much of an impact. He had that much influence. The guy got billions, I mean, tens of billions of views on TikTok alone, let alone YouTube, his podcast, Rumble, Spotify, Apple, never mind X, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. Billions. We're talking billion. Trump himself has acknowledged, if it wasn't for Charlie Kirk, I might not be here. If it wasn't for the great Charlie Kirk, I got to give due to one more guy. He's a good-looking guy. That's Professor Nesmi and Melania. We watch him every day. He's a good guy, right? Thank you, Mr. President. I love you. Sorry, I don't mean to make this about me. I just had to throw that in there. I think we had a lot of contribution. We have over 200 million views, over 500,000 subscribers. Hello, that's no small thing. But so that's I think the sort of divergence right there. That's the dichotomy that we're faced with. If you believe Candace Owens, which a lot of it has really I haven't seen any concrete substantive evidence. Now we'll see what she puts out tomorrow. And if I need to do a follow-up video, I will. I doubt I will, because I really don't want to, I don't want this channel to turn into something like that unless I can substantiate everything. But if you believe her, then you're saying that Cash, Dan, and all these people are full of it. I haven't seen enough to be convinced of that. Have you? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you need a copy, if you want a copy of my research notes for free with all the screenshots, the entire outline, the breakdown, etc., the link is in the pinned comment, also in the description. Don't forget to check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. Tap that thumbs up if you love America, and also tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.